Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Capcan and this is going to be a build guide on Explosive Arrow, Elementalist, Totem, Ballistas, reliable, high damage, very good bosser, good map clearer, league starter build that is highly popular in the 3.22 patch. It's an all-around very powerful build. It's capable to do anything. It goes up on pretty good nodes in terms of leveling. It's very reliable whenever you're starting build with no currency. It's very good if you ramp the damage up with good gear and stuff like that. So basically the build is very good and we're gonna go into it in just a couple of moments. Before that, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, as there's gonna be a bunch of different content about Path of Exile and many builds, especially. Some of them are popular, some of them are less popular, some of them new, some of them old, but there's gonna be a bunch of content about Path of Exile. Also definitely subscribe to the channel and like the video to help me to get it to the public. So yeah, let's go to the build. We're gonna go from the tree to skills to items. As you can see, the build has very high effective hit pool, or at least pretty high, and more than comfortable for softcore. It has very good damage. It's all around pretty powerful, and yeah, it's just very good. Okay, so basically what are we taking in terms of our talents? In general, we're going for damage over time multiplier, of course, because we're going to be igniting enemies, duh. And then elemental overload is one of the biggest keynote big passives for us in here. We're going for damage or fire damage over time multiplier. We're going for some life as well, for mana reservation efficiency for sure. Then totem nodes, ancestral bond, definitely want to get as much totems as we can possibly basically get for us. So then we are taking some additional totem cluster jewel for us to have onslaught whenever the totem whenever we are spawning totems, and some additional totem damage and stuff like that. Then we're going all the way down there on our path. We're just taking some additional jewel slots, some additional life, some additional totem stuff, additional spell suppression things, mage bane, very good for us to have either cap or almost cap of spell suppression chance. Then we are taking here a natural instinct that gives us pretty good small nodes around here. Then we're going for elemental equilibrium because it works with explosive arrow pretty well, as you're inflicting exposure on the enemy. Then whenever you're blasting, it doesn't override, and you have so basically it works more than fine, and you will have the right version of explosion on enemies if you build the character correctly. Then we're going for more life and bow nodes, just in general, more totem nodes, of course, some additional +1s to number of summoned ballista here and there. Totem mastery for summoning more totems at a time, more elemental damage, life, and totems, again +1 to number of totems. So that's it when it comes to our talent tree. It's pretty simple. Even though it's stretched so wide, it still works perfectly fine. Then when it comes to our skills, our main 6th link, of course, is explosive arrow combined with ballista totem. Then early damage with attacks, life tap for it to cost life and for us not to think about mana. Then burning damage and faster attacks. Okay, now when it comes to, we do have a frenzy setup. It's a 4-link that you can have either in 4 links or in your second 6 link. We don't need second 6 link, we need just like 6 socket. So yeah, frenzy with life tap, great GMP and cutting strike for us to last hit the enemies and basically get frenzy charges, of course. And life tap for it to cost again life instead of mana, so that we can reserve every single thing in there. Okay, again a life tap on our cast when damage taking, proccing proccing the molten shell, and flame dash as our blink skill to dodge things. Then lightning spire trap with combustion, which we're gonna use pretty rarely, and it will give us additional -10 fire resistance that it will ignite enemies quite easily, because lightning spiral trap hits frequently, and then the enemy will get minus 10 additional fire resistance as well. And by the way, yeah, that's how you can proc your that's essential for the build to work, basically, with all the keynote talents, and the combustion is going to be proccing as well. Then determination, for us to have more armor and to be more defensive. Precision level 19. If you don't have enough mana, you can get it lower, but for us to have just additional bonuses here. Then Arcanist brand for flammability, flame surge, and life tap. So it's all again damage multipliers on enemies' life tap for it to cost life again instead of mana. Primal Aegis is just our ascendancy talent, and the other two things that you can probably place into your 6 socket items is Vol Grace and Malevolence. Malevolence you can use as your go-to aura. If you do have enough damage, then just turn off Malevolence and turn on regular Grace, and it will give you a bunch of different a bunch of evasion additionally. If you don't want to use it, then just use Malevolence and it's going to be fine, and you will have enough mana. So one of these can be up at a time whenever you need more defensives or offensives. And yeah, when we didn't talk about our ascendancy. So in ascendancy, we're of course taking Mastermind of Discord for additional -2 resistances, Heart of Destruction for additional elemental damage multiplier, Shaper of Flames of course for our hits to always ignite, and Bastion of Elements just gives us additional defenses against elemental damage. Now when it comes to our weapons, what do we want here? +1 to level of socketed gems, +1 to level of socketed bow gems, pretty high attack speed, and after that just some additional fire damage as extra chaos damage, because we can basically ignite with all types of damage, so that will work as well. Then we do have our quiver that gives us damage over time multiplier, life, some attack speed again, and some increased damage as well. Then when it comes to our helmet, we are using enchantment for additional attack speed for our explosive arrow. Increased duration of ailments on unique enemies, especially in presence in presence of unique enemies, is going to be good for your ignite uptime. Otherwise, just resistances and maximum life here with armor and evasion if possible. Our body armor is going to be giving us again chance to spell suppress, a little bit of attributes, armor and evasion as much as possible, and some fizz damage taken converted to fire and lightning. So that's a crafted modifier. Then when it comes to our gloves, while a unique enemy in your presence inflict fire exposure, then ignites you inflict spread to enemies. So that's essential for your AoE clear and for you spreading your ignites. It's a no-brainer here. Then otherwise life, some attributes, a little bit of accuracy rating, increases to damage, resistances, nothing special. When it comes to the boots, of course, movement speed as high as possible, then maximum life, spell suppression, and resistances. Then with Amulet, we are getting more accuracy here as well, some attributes, crit strike chance. But it's probably more of like, again, +1 to level of all fire skill gems rather than that, because that's definitely the modifier that will bring your damage way to the higher altitudes, and maximum life as well. Then with first ring, we're using Polaric Devastation to cover our enemies in ash whenever we ignite them, and increase duration of ailments, which is pretty good as well. Some resistances here too. Then with our second ring, it's just regular resistances, some increased damage, some accuracy, and maximum life. Belt is very good, Diadem Dawn. So it basically fastens up your ignites. Your ignites inflict with attacks deal damage 42% faster, or just some amount faster, which is incredible damage multiplier for us, and then just some resistances and maximum life that it gives are pretty handy too. Then with our additional flask, it's Aziri Promise, so it's percentage of elemental damage as extra chaos damage. Again, it counts towards the ignite numbers, just because we ignite with all types of damage, and some chaos resistance that it gives pretty good as well. So Granite and Jade Flasks for our defensives, just evasion rating in armor that they give. Quicksilver for movement speed, and Divine Life Flask with immunity to bleeding and corrupted blood for our defensives, for our regeneration, recovery, whatever. Pretty regular stuff. So that's the build. It is very powerful, it is very popular and reliable. You can basically, it is highest populated build with Elementalist, and Elementalist is currently in the first week of the league. Elementalist is a second most popular ascendancy, which is more than good, and it shows how the builds are on Elementalist are still more than awesome. People love Elementalist, and Ascendancy. To be honest, it's just in more than a good shape. So thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to get more content like this. Have a good day. Goodbye.